This program contains true stories of rescues.
It's First Aid with Kelly Kinkaid.
Welcome to First Aid with Kelly Kinkaid. And today I have a guest, and we're going to talk about some interesting things about one of the most purest forms of life, which is water. Today, my guest is Gail Levy. She is the CEO of Factor. Hello, Gail. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Kelly. I'm so glad to be here. It's spring. Everything is starting to bloom, and it's just a great time, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I want to start. Let's talk about Factor. Factor is a hydrogen-infused water.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, as for me, I am on the alkaline water bandwagon. So I started drinking water a few years ago. For me, alkaline water has a lot of benefits. It improves your metabolism, improves digestion, increases energy. What are the benefits of drinking Factor?
And it helps attenuate excessive oxidative stress.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means, it is virtually helps any kind of disease model that's out there. And currently there's about 170 different disease models that molecular hydrogen can potentially help, which is basically every organ in our body.
Right. The development of this water, you had a great team that put this water together. How long did it take, and how did you come up with this idea with all the different waters that are available?
So it's kind of a bittersweet story. I launched the product May 2017, but that was not clearly the beginning. Go back about 3.5 years prior to that. My best friend, unfortunately, had cancer, and she would be complaining about the radiation and the chemotherapy and how it ravaged her body and all the things that came along with taking the chemo and the radiation. And she would say to me, Gail, you're the researcher. Why can't you find something that would minimize the effects of this? And so I would look up at things, and virtually everything looked like, they didn't have any positive effects or in any way could help her. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, she passed away. And then about 6 months after she passed away, a friend of mine who was a former professional basketball player reached out to me and said, you're, the serial entrepreneur of my friends. What do you know about molecular hydrogen? And I said, except for the fact that it's number one on the periodic table and that it has been given for years to divers when they have the bends. That was essentially what I knew. And he said seriously that some of his buddies had gotten it overseas and found that it really helped them with recovery. And so he says, why don't you look it up? So I did. I started to research, and back then I went to Google Scholar and started to search molecular hydrogen. Uh-huh. And the first study, Kelly, that I came upon was on cancer patients that were taking cisplatin, and that was the chemo my friend Lori was on.
My condolences to her family.
Yeah.
This is it's bittersweet, but all the good that you're doing with this water, because the reviews and the different articles that have been placed and written about it, I see, what is hydrogen water? How should we be drinking it? Why you should be drinking this water, loved by different celebrities are on the bandwagon, and I thank you for sending me some, because I did sample. I'm in the gym working out, and I consider myself an athlete, and I do feel a difference. I feel this boost. Talk about what is this boost that I'm feeling every time I drink the water?
So it's giving you that energy, and people equate it to getting a pep in your step.
Right.
And the fact is, since hydrogen is so small, it passes the blood-brain barrier and it fuels basically all the cells in your body. So it's a super anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and increases your energy. And people have said that it potentially could slow down the aging process, and especially it helps improve your muscle recovery when you work out. And when you were talking about celebrities and athletes, this is why they absolutely love it.
And you also said, we spoke about it reduces the inflammation. So you started, your curiosity was piqued because of your friend who had cancer, but you also talk about it helps reduce inflammation. So the caliber of people that drink this, where do you get like your results? Not only with celebrities, but common folks, like people with arthritis. Like what other people would be interested besides having it taste good? I like the regular water, and I actually like the flavors, but who is H Factor for?
Well, Kelly, as you may know, that inflammation, we all suffer some type of inflammation. So whether you are a pro athlete or a celebrity that is, burning the midnight oil, we're all, putting our body through a lot of oxidative stress.
Right.
And therefore, that the energy that you get from hydrogen just helps. So we get testimonials from elementary school, middle school, high school, college athletes saying how it has absolutely helped. And we get some cute pictures of these young kids holding the trophy in one hand and H Factor in the other hand. And then, as you were mentioning, other regular folk, because inflammation is a source of so many issues. We have people that have seen some relief, whether they have diabetes or they have Parkinson's or any inflammatory type of issue. Now, of course, this is not a cure, but if it can give people some benefit to help them, then we've accomplished something. But the amount of comments and fan mail that we get from people once they have tried it, and especially people find in the morning, when you got that kind of cobweb feeling, and it just clears you up, and it feels great, and there's no caffeine, no sugar. The only thing it has is 2 ingredients: reverse osmosis water and pure hydrogen gas.
It's interesting. I love the packaging of it.
Thank you.
It's so easy. I just stuck them in my refrigerator, and this is just the regular water, but I couldn't decide what other flavors. Tell me the flavors that you have besides the regular water that are available.
Sure. So, I want to just say something about the packaging, and thank you for bringing up the fact that, it is so unique. Yeah. So we, it is this hourglass shape, which makes it very easy to hold, especially great when you're hiking or biking. We have only the one seam around it, so it minimizes the amount of gas exposure, because once you open it, we recommend drinking it within 30 minutes so that you get the maximum therapeutic benefit of the hydrogen. And then, of course, we create what's called the doyen bottom so that it can stand very well by itself. But what is great about the packaging is the low carbon footprint. So what that means is that 26 tractor trailers of, let's say, 1.5 million rigid containers, it would take to take away the rigid containers, versus 1 tractor trailer for the same units of our pouch. So if you can imagine the advantage from fossil fuels, wood palleting, it's just incredible. And then the other part of it is that we recycle through a program called TerraCycle. And we ask our consumers to hold on to their empty pouches, which are, as you know, flat like paper once you consume it. And then you stick it in a prepaid envelope that we pay for. And they turn them into TerraCycle. And then TerraCycle turns them into picnic tables, park benches, and other useful objects. So this way we don't end up in any landfill. And, as you may know, several years ago, China stopped taking the world's trash. So it's incumbent then upon the local communities, cities, towns to figure out how to, dispose of the trash. And by doing this, we know that it directly goes into other useful products. So we really are very committed to the environment. And as to the flavors, we have 4 flavors currently. We have tart cherry, honeydew, blood orange, and watermelon. And in addition, I don't know if you know this, but we do have a can.
Yeah.
So some people do prefer to have cans. And we also offer a 20 ounce. So if somebody really wants a lot of H Factor, the 20 ounce will really serve them well. It's very popular among athletes.
That's wonderful. I think I like all the flavors, but the cherry, when I sampled each one, I was like, okay. The honeydew and the cantaloupe, I was like, interesting. And they really have a really good taste. I like the tart cherry. I guess
that's a fan favorite.
Yeah, the tart cherry was really good for me. Gail, I know you didn't know this, but I'm a native of Flint, Michigan. And
no, I didn't know that.
The water situation, the water crises. And I just wanted you to talk about like how important it is for people to have good water and why maybe someone from Flint in the surrounding areas are listening to this that could support H Factor.
Well, what's interesting is today is International Water Day. And obviously the whole point is to provide good, clean, quality water to our communities around the country. And yes, Flint, Michigan, it was just a terrible situation. But Kelly, I really feel that it's just a matter of time before other cities are going to have these problems because so many of the pipes, things are antiquated. They need, to be updated. And I think that was the tip of the iceberg. I mean, clearly water we need to survive on. It is the one thing that we cannot live without. And so it's really important that, cities take a look at their water system, and hopefully Flint was a rude awakening for other cities to be able to take stock at their situation and make sure that it doesn't repeat itself. Now, when Houston had that problem not that long ago, to their water supply, they had to shut it down. And, fortunately, we had shipped a lot of water down to Houston to help the people in the area. And that's another thing. We really try to be on the ground when we know that there are either crisis situations, whether it be water problems, hurricanes, or other natural disasters. We have supplied tens of thousands of bottles to healthcare workers and frontline people. We did an initiative where we airlifted pouches to the Bahamas when they had their natural disaster. More recently, we partnered with the Global Empowerment Mission, which is one of Bethany Frankel's involvement. And we brought water down to Texas, and now I understand that our water is also being distributed to other areas. So, water is really important, and I really believe that, H Factor is like the first line of defense because not only does it taste good, but it's good for you. So this really is important and will help people. And we're continuing to be there, partner with people like Global Empowerment Mission to provide good, clean water to people, especially in need.
Right. And yeah, International Water Day, I think that just when we talk about water, I think when it became with it touched home for me with Flint, just the importance of water. You think it's something that just we turn on the faucet. And it should be something easy, but our systems in each city are being polluted. And, you know, when people ask me about Flint, Michigan, I go, that's just one city that got the spotlight, but it's cities all across the country that are experiencing this. I'm curious to know about with H Factor some of your success stories, because I know a lot of people may write in to you, but can you share any like success stories that you've
So
had?
are you, in terms of from a retail point of view, or about our consumers? And
Consumer, a personal consumer story.
yeah, well, I mean, we had this one, oh, there's literally thousands of stories, but people, we had one guy that had Parkinson's disease, and he said that, when he drank the water, that it really helped him tremendously. We've had people with arthritis really, really get a lot of emails from people with arthritis and saying how much better they feel. And, even sometimes people are just so desperate, Kelly, for any little bit of help. So the fact that this can give them some, level of comfort is definitely great. And also people who have allergies, we find that it really does help. And I know in the morning that sometimes if it's allergy season, I'll drink an H Factor, and all of a sudden my sinuses clear out. And I have one funny story. I had lunch with someone who was a bit skeptical on hydrogen water. So I brought it to lunch, and she was complaining of her allergies. So I handed her the water, and she drank it, and all of a sudden her nose started, she says, "Oh my God." And she was saying, "Oh my God, this really works. This is amazing."
Right.
So, we get a lot of those stories, from different people. We also, some people wrote in when they had COVID that they found that it helped them through it. And, obviously there were various conversations about that. And I just think when you go back to it and you look at it, that it's a super anti-inflammatory, that that's really what we are all looking for today. I mean, if you see that you go into your local grocery store, there are so many better for you products out there that, were not around 5 years ago.
Right.
And, and then, also too, we hear from athletes and celebrities, and, how it helps them. Somebody like DeMarcus Lawrence, who plays for the Dallas Cowboys, he is just like, he can't get enough of it. And he finds that it really helps him with his performance and recovery.
That's beautiful. And I applaud you for doing this for Lori and helping other people, because it had to have been one of your biggest missions. Because when you talk about molecular this and hydrogen this, it can make someone's head explode, and just all the work that you're doing. How can people find H Water?
So you can find H Factor. We're pretty much nationally in a lot of major stores, such as Sprouts. You can find us in Albertson, Safeway, and then of course they have different divisions across the country. In the Northeast, Wegmans, Safeway, ShopRite. We're in Walmart in certain areas of the country, and then of course, e-commerce. So you can get us on Amazon, and if you're Amazon Prime, of course, we're there. So it's pretty much one click to purchase, as well as Walmart.com and our own website. And I encourage people to go to our website, because there's so much information on it, and there's studies. So you could also see the store locator. So it's a really great place to stop by and check out.
That's wonderful. My last question, I actually had my sister who is been a longtime alkaline drinker, water drinker. The question was, as far as, and we talked about it at the beginning, as far as the difference of the H factor water. I just talked about alkaline, but when people, I've done different detoxes and they say drink distilled water, and that distilled pulls. And I'm just fascinated with the hydrogen infused water. What is the difference between, we talked about alkaline, but is there a difference between H factor and the distilled water and spring water? What makes it kind of...
So hydrogen is completely different. It's different than alkaline. You know, alkaline is focused on high pH, but you would have to drink a lot of alkaline water to affect the pH in your body. So naturally, the pH in our body is somewhere around 7.4. So, you know, there have been studies out there that have said you would just have to drink like hundreds of gallons of alkaline water to affect a change in your pH. What makes hydrogen different is because, as I had mentioned earlier, it is the smallest molecule. So it goes speedily into the cells of your body and, you know, even specifically, you know, the mitochondria. So it gives a boost, think of it, to the ATP, and that's what gives you the energy. And the fact that it so easily permeates our cell membranes is why the hydrogen is so impactful. And you don't need a lot of hydrogen to be able to impart a benefit. But of course, everybody's makeup is different. But that, I would say, is probably the distinct difference between the waters. Spring waters, of course, have the natural minerals that they get from depending on what spring that the water's originating from. So it's hard to say because every spring water has different natural ingredients to it, whereas hydrogen, we pull all of that out. I mean, it is and if you've tasted the regular water, I'm sure you agree, it's very pure tasting, very fresh. So, and that's because we don't want the hydrogen to attach to any of those minerals. And what we do is we use pure hydrogen gas. So it's 99.999 pure. So it's the purest hydrogen gas that you can get. And that's why it delivers those benefits.
Wonderful. Well, you know, I can attest. I'm co-signing, Gail. You know, I'm co-signing. This is really great. And like I said, I'm in the gym. I want to be healthy. It's a lifestyle change, you know, and I want, like you said, I want to put good things in my body. And I really want to suggest and recommend to go to, tell the website again, or on Amazon to purchase this, to try it out. Because I think once you try it out, you're going to like it. Where can people find the website to really go and look at the studies as well?
Sure. So it's www.hfactorwater.com. And by the way, Kelly, it's great for skin.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Get your glow up. Get your glow up. Absolutely. I want to thank you today. Thank my guest today, Gail Levy, the CEO of H Factor Water. I appreciate you, and I look forward to talking to you because I know it's going to be something else that you guys are doing with the community.
Oh, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. So hopefully you'll invite me back and we can talk about it again.
Absolutely.